So today I want to share with you some tips on how to successfully navigate going to someone's home for dinner or staying at someone's home as a house guest. Hi, I'm Robyn with Lean Healthy Ageless and the co-author of the Eat, Live, Thrive diet. I just got back from 2 weeks in Colorado staying at our friend's ranch. And I knew I wanted to stay on my healthy eating regime. I was going to allow myself some, small indulgences, but I was not going off track for 2 weeks. And I just want to share with you, I actually was victorious and successful. And because I can do it, I know you can too. So here's a few things that you want to keep in mind. It took planning and communication. You need to get on the phone with the person whose home you're going to and let them know you have some dietary restrictions. What are they planning? How can you help? What are you going to bring? You don't have to be embarrassed about this. This is your health. You don't have to say, I'm trying to lose weight. You can say something like, I have certain food sensitivities, or for my health, I'm on a specific eating program, feeling much better, and I need to stick with these dietary protocols. Be your own advocate. I mean, if you had celiac disease and you couldn't have anything with any gluten at all, you would certainly speak up and tell your host or hostess that, because if you didn't, you could end up in the hospital. What if you had a severe seafood or fish allergy? You're going to let them know that you can't eat that because it's detrimental to your health. It's okay. You are valuable enough to speak up on behalf of yourself. You are not trying to change their meals, change what they're serving, change what the family's going to be gathering around, their comfort food, so to speak. Your goal in this, my goal when I was on vacation, was to adapt my meals to what they were already planning to serve. I'm just going to share my personal experience from being away and staying at someone's home for the last 2 weeks, because I think it gives you a good broad spectrum of what you can accomplish. So I got on the phone with my friend. We talked over meals. We were driving, so I knew I could bring food with me. I had some bins set up in the back of our truck, and I put pantry items in there. And then I also brought a cooler with some things. Now, I know not everybody's able to do that, because if you're flying, it's going to be a little different story. But let me just share with you the communication that I had with my hostess, my friend Joni. So we were going to be there 2 weeks, and I said, let's plan meals, because my husband's a vegetarian, so he has dietary needs. And I said, I have my own food sensitivities that I can't eat certain foods. So let's talk about what we want to prepare. I'm happy to bring a whole bunch of stuff. So she had suggested spaghetti, enchiladas, flank steak, burgers and brats. I suggested a taco night and a pizza night. So a lot of these foods are things that are not on my plan, but I knew I could adapt them. So for example, on the spaghetti, we brought the noodles, regular noodles for everybody. Of course, I brought the organic Italian imported pasta because it's so much better for you than conventional. But I also brought my own heart of palm noodles that I was going to use for the spaghetti. So I got these at Trader Joe's. You can also find them on Amazon. They're called Heart of Palm Noodles by Natural Heaven makes them. Palmini makes them in a can. So these are made from heart of palm, very low carb, no starch. So when we had the spaghetti, I simply served mine over my heart of palm noodles. Super easy. We did enchiladas. So Joni was going out of town for a couple days for a wedding while we were going to be there. She had pre-made the enchiladas. Guess what I did? I said, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you keep some of the stuffing, the meat filling, out of the enchiladas for me? Because I won't eat the tortilla, and it's just easier than me pulling it out after it's cooked. So when I got there, all I had to do was pop the enchiladas in the oven for everybody else. And I took the extra meat filling and I put it over lettuce. I made a taco salad out of it. And it was perfect and delicious. Flank steak, that was easy. I just had vegetables with the flank steak. Then we did a pizza night. So we grilled pizzas on the barbecue. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's a lot of fun. We made the dough. It was wheat dough. I knew I wasn't going to eat that. I used the Trader Joe's cauliflower thins. I brought these in the cooler. And if you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, you can find them at Outer Aisle. But Trader Joe's also has a pizza size as well. They're these little cauliflower flat thins. So on pizza night, everybody ate pizza on the regular dough, and I made my pizza on the cauliflower thin. Let's say you want to make a lasagna for a group. I've done this before where I've made 3/4 of the pan with lasagna noodles, and then the other 1/4 of a pan, I've used these little Outer Aisle or Trader Joe's cauliflower thins, or Natural Heaven makes a heart of palm lasagna noodle that you can use. These you can pack in your suitcase. Look how thin that is. So if you're not driving, you can literally pack some of these things in your suitcase. In addition to packing a few pantry items in your suitcase if you're not driving, another thing that you can do if you're going to be a guest at someone's home for several days is stop by the grocery store and pick up a few things that you know you're going to need. You're not able to drive across country with a cooler, but you can certainly go to the grocery store and grab some items that you want. Now, if you're gone a week or 2 weeks, you may not be perfect the entire time, but when you're prepared like this, you are setting yourself up to be much more successful. Now, what are you going to do if you end up in a scenario where you haven't really planned? Maybe you're going to someone's house for dinner that wasn't on the agenda, and you're just going to eat what's served. For example, we ended up at another friend's home on the same trip for dinner. I hadn't talked with her at all about meals, and guess what she served the first night? And it was already cooking by the time we got there, and that was a lasagna. So I didn't say anything because I hadn't pre-planned with her. I hadn't talked with her on the phone. And so I had a salad and I put the lasagna on my plate. And guess what I did? I ate the inside of the lasagna out. I had maybe 2 or 3 bites of the actual noodle, and I ate the rest of the filling and left the rest. And that's perfectly fine and okay to do. You don't have to clean your plate. And it wasn't rude, it wasn't offensive, and nobody even noticed. The next night, we were really not wanting to cook. We hadn't planned anything. She said, well, maybe we'll barbecue. And I said, you know what? If we don't want to do a lot of work, why don't we just have the leftover lasagna? Do you have any of the sauce left, the red sauce left? And she said she did. And so I said, oh, great. I have some of my own noodles. We'll serve the lasagna, and I'll just put some of the sauce over my own noodles. And you know what was interesting in that? I had just said I just try to stay away from gluten and wheat because my body doesn't do well with it and I don't feel great. Well, it opened up lots of questions. She was very interested in learning more about my diet, and it wasn't rude or offensive to her. It actually intrigued her. And so I just want to reiterate to you, don't be embarrassed. Don't try to change what other people are eating. You want to adapt your meals to theirs. And be your own advocate, because if you don't speak up for your own body, who's going to do it for you?